So I'm metal detecting at another old town site. I will probably have a video on digging out a outhouse hole sometime if I ever can get back into it, if the weather dries out a little. Right here was anyway, that outhouse is in this same little town where I am now. And right here there was a mechanic shop and a gas station, well, gas pumps in front of it. But haven't found anything there to speak of. But I wandered over here to where there was a little community fish pond. Here's my buddy. Run away. And I found interesting little, uh-oh. I think the horse ate it. Oh, there it is. There's that. But first I found a piece of the side of a mason jar lid, and I thought that's all it was. But anyway. This little pendant or necklace thing that says, "My heart is for the USA." So that's interesting. We'll keep on looking around here. It's terribly windy, but I've been down in the little fishing pond. So far I pulled out this all brass box. I don't know if it was a part of a flashlight or could have been anything. Piece of a piston, the top and one of the sides there. Now next door was that garage and gas station. So for some reason stuff got thrown in here. But I just saw, walking along, looks like a Pepsi bottle. So I'll pull that out. Oh yeah. So anyway, that's cool. Keep on looking. Okay, I'm getting a mid-60s to mid-70s, and I see it. Could be a shotgun shell, I guess. See right there? Oh, it is. You stinker. Okay. Shooting catfish with the shotgun. Nice. Here's a little center cap for a Ford. Not too sure what year it's off of. Okay, well I just found a little rivet off some jeans, more than likely. I'm detecting where the well, we're getting a nice little rain shower. One of the grain elevators right next to the railroad tracks. So while I'm sitting here, I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about where I am and what I'm after. This town site did not exist before early 1900s. It's a very late bloomer of a town. And how it came into being, there was the owner of a flour mill in a nearby larger town, and he kind of had a vision of connecting a lot of farmers going through this area up to his mill with a railroad so that they could easily haul their grain in to get milled. Because up to that point, they harvest it and they store it, and then as they need to turn it into flour for the year, they would shovel it into their horse-drawn wagons, and they would take a week, haul it to however many miles they had to haul it, and then spend that time in that town where the mill was while their wheat was being milled into flour. And so he kind of envisioned this railroad line to make it much more convenient for the farmers. And so it was built just after the turn of the century, and then all along that line, all these little communities kind of sprouted up. And this is one of them. And there were 3 grain elevators all along the one edge of this town, and all owned by different individuals. And so it became much more convenient for farmers. They could bring their crop to the elevator and sell it, and it would just get hauled to the mill right away. And the railroad was also a big advantage for the communities because people could, hop on. They had converted like city buses, very early buses from the teens and 20s, and they basically turned them into streetcars, and put them on steel wheels on the tracks, and people could hop on that and ride all the way into the larger towns, do their shopping, go visiting, whatever they had to do there. And so it was a great thing. And by, I think, 1940 or so, it was pretty much all over. The personal trucks, farm trucks, started really taking the place of trains, as it did everywhere else in the country. And that was kind of the beginning of the end. And I think in 41 they pulled up the tracks. So it's been a while without any railroad, and all the communities that blossomed, that came into being, they've pretty much all disappeared. And this is just one of them. This property here where all these dead weeds are, this is where one elevator sat, and the railroad tracks would have been there. And so I'm looking for stuff related to that. And behind me, going the other direction, were the other 2 elevators and the depot, and I don't have permission for that yet. But I hope to get that, because I obviously really want to search around where that depot was. And one more thing before I go. I started this video with searching around the mechanic shop and then on towards that little community fishing pond. And I thought, that fishing pond, I was really excited about that. That'd be great because, guys getting in and out of their little rowboat or whatever and dropping stuff out of the pockets, or people throwing money into the water or whatever, I was really excited. And I got down in there, and it was just completely covered in there with scrap iron and old car parts. And it's just impossible to find anything good. So, no doubt some of Mommy's little angels were over there throwing junk from the mechanic shop into the water. And so, that ends that. Well, it's still raining a little bit here, but I just pulled out a very old, I guess it's a car door handle or a window crank handle. I mean, that thing is very fine. I would guess it has to be early 30s down into the 20s, but I'm not exactly sure what model it came off of. This gave a really good signal, but I think it's just a door latch plate, a brass one. Yep, exactly what it is. They knew how to build them. Okay, I have a 75 signal. Uh-oh. Not good. Man, that is chrome in there. Okay, well, just aluminum. Okay, so far it's been junk, and got some old ammo casings, 30-30 and a 22. But here's some evidence that I am on the train track, or close to it. Very good. I'll keep looking. Well, here's something. You know what that is? That is the door handle and latch to an old-fashioned icebox. You knew that, didn't you? So I just dug a valve stem from an early car. There it is, all brass. But I noticed there's a bottle in the ground here, and I'm not sure if it's complete. Now it could be from the 80s, it could be from the 40s, it could be from the teens, who knows? The previous teens. And it could also be completely broken and not a bottle at all. Looks like it was the bottom of a big jar. Look how thick that is. Okay. You recognize that? It's a piece of a pipe wrench. Jaw a little bit here, the other jaw a little bit here. Almost read the brand. So I was excitedly digging away here because I saw this piece. I thought, man, what part of a train or part of a building here? Some piece of machinery. But I kept digging. And as you can see, it is none of those things. It is, of course, a smashed pot. Oh well. Next time. So here's something kind of cool. It's a low 80s signal. Looks like a cheap little padlock. It says Yale Junior. I would bet, made in USA, I would bet that there was a round grain bin behind me that was probably put up after the railroad left. So more than likely it was used to lock that up and not anything to do with the elevator or the railroad. I'm going to see if I can find the rest of it. Well, I don't show too much trash. That one's kind of interesting. There's a ex-bucket, a former bucket. But I think I just got a scent. If I can find it again, yeah, there it is. Right there. Yeah, that's a wheat penny. And I just can't read it. Not sure yet what this is. It looks interesting. It gives a solid 50. Oh, it's hollow. Oh, it's a ring. Yeah. Looks like a cheap little ring. Whoop, 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 whoop. Whoa, there goes one of the stones. That's pretty cool. Clean that up. I just flop that right over. Whoop, just like that. Pretty nice one, huh? Oh, yeah. I was trying to chase a signal over here. Couldn't find it, couldn't find it. Looking all over the place, and it's just a 22 casing had rolled away. But I got it. This gave a surprisingly good signal. Of course, it's good iron. It, of course, being a file. Okay, the last thing I do before I leave, I was going to show you. This was the bank foundation. Here are two things I found nearby. Don't know if they're very interesting. Tiny little stove lid and a car door handle escutcheon. I like that word. Escutcheon. But this is the foundation. You can see this must have been where the vault was, because the walls are twice as thick as the rest of the foundation. Just a tiny little bank, but I didn't really find anything. No teller buried a bunch of money or something like that, so that is that. I will get my escutcheon and go. Here's a little key. Not too old, probably from the 40s through the 60s. Oh, well, it says Briggs and Stratton, so it's even a lawnmower key. Oh well, I'll give it to my son. There's a piece of a hinge or something. Unfortunately, I nicked it when I dug it out. Looks like it's been re-welded. Big old piece of brass. I'm getting a 75 out of this. First I thought it was a piece of the old tin ceiling tiles, but this is all symmetrically scalloped, so I don't know. I guess it's just broken off of something there. Kinda cool though. So I asked the owner if he knew about this, and he didn't, but he said I could have it. You know, it's only a partial sign, but I still like it. But I was just getting it from right there, and I looked over, and this was just sitting here. Wow. That is really cool. I wonder if it was from a metal bank or, you know, piggy bank or something. Cool. Okay, what you just watched probably took about 20 minutes. For me, it took about 3 months to do. You could probably tell watching the grass that started out with dead grass with snow on it and ended up with 2-foot tall weeds. But that's how I have to do it. I get maybe an hour after work sometimes, or on the weekends, to go look around, and that's just how it is. So here are the things I've kept so far, but I've got to stop somewhere and finish a video, and I'll get back to that place again. I just need to organize all the footage somehow. So, of course, one of the last things you saw was the 7-Up sign. I don't know that I'll keep that, but got a plate for a doorknob. Horseshoe. Ended up with 3 spikes. These I don't think I ever showed. These are joint bolts. When they joined 2 long pieces of track together, railroad track, they'd put a plate on each side and then bolt them with these bolts to hold them together. So that's what those are. Stove lid, the hinge plate, a funny little decorative, don't know what it is. Don't know if it was for a hair clip or something, or I have no idea. Ended up with 2 padlocks, got the little Yale Junior. And this, I don't know if it's very old or just very cheap or both. But that's another padlock, obviously. Just thin metal, iron. I got a little bracket here. Not too sure what it would have been used on. I doubt it was on a trunk, but it could have been. I don't know. Crazy little homemade hook. Icebox handle, latch, lipstick cover, door handle escutcheon, door handle, beat up little fancy belt buckle, pocket watch back, a really messed up Model T Ford hubcap. Won't probably bother keeping that. 2 files. My heart is for the USA. Pendant. Got the little ring. Tiny little buckle. Handle off a faucet, I suppose. Really heavy. Grommet and some other kind of grommet or something. Couple buttons. The end off a pencil. I think a 1916 and 1929 Wheathead pennies. My fancy mechanical bank man, or some kind of mechanical toy, I imagine. 30-30 shell casing. A bullet. Some kind of fancy linkage. Door striker plate. And this I got from the lunchroom at the school. Not at all sure. Speaking of the school, I don't think I showed anything there. I just haven't come. Oh, and I didn't show the chicken again. There's the chicken. I need to get back to the school area. That's one place I really need to go over. And I will do that all of the ballpark area, around the school, the alley, the drive in front of the school, and all around the lunchroom. So there's potential there to pick up some coins. It's such a big place, and I have so many other I'm interested in so many other places to go, that I just kind of do this when I feel like it. Or if I go out on a Saturday and something doesn't work out, I'll stop by this place and dig for an hour. So thanks for watching this one, and even though I just didn't find anything really great, my favorite being the man. I love finding stuff like that. And the padlocks. I like finding padlocks. So, I like finding it all. That one's pretty cool too. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and I will be recording as I do some more. And
they were my brother's shoes, that's why they fell off. Attaboy,
check out my other videos.